Have you ever stopped to wonder why the people who seem least concerned about impressing others are often the most captivating? It's a paradox that defies logic but rings true in almost every sphere of life, from relationships to friendships to professional dynamics. We are inexplicably drawn to those who exude calm, quiet confidence and independence. Why is that? Why does the person who doesn't chase approval somehow command it effortlessly? Here's a question. Are you trying too hard? Trying to impress, to gain someone's attention, or to hold on to relationships that seem to slip further away the more you cling to them? If this resonates, it's time to pause and reflect. What if the secret to being truly magnetic lies not in effort, but in effortlessness? Today, we're peeling back the layers of this mystery. By the end of this journey, you'll not only understand why people are drawn to those who don't try hard, you'll be equipped to become one of those people. This is more than a theory, it's a transformation waiting to unfold. We'll begin with the foundation, the power of independence. 1. The power of independence. What does it mean to be truly independent? Is it simply about living life on your own terms, or does it run deeper than that? Independence is a state of mind, a reflection of how much you value yourself apart from the opinions and validations of others. And here lies the secret. People are irresistibly drawn to those who stand strong in their independence. But why? Think about the people you admire. Are they the ones constantly seeking approval, bending over backward to gain others' favor? Or are they the ones who walk into a room with quiet assurance, who seem comfortable in their own skin, who live their lives without apology or explanation? The answer is clear. Independence is attractive because it signals strength of character, of mind, and of heart. When you cling to someone, when you seek their attention obsessively, what message are you sending? You're telling them that your worth is tied to their approval. You're offering your dignity on a platter, hoping for scraps of validation in return. And let's be honest, does that ever work? The harder you chase, the further they pull away. Why? Because desperation repels while independence magnetizes. Consider this. When you stop chasing, when you begin to love your own independence, you shift the entire dynamic. Suddenly, the person who once ignored your messages starts to notice your absence. The calls they used to disregard don't come anymore, and it leaves a void. Independence forces others to reassess your value because it reveals that you don't need them to complete you. The Stoicism of independence teaches us this vital truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you anchor yourself in your own worth, you stop being at the mercy of someone else's whims. You become unshakable, and that stability is intoxicating to those around you. But how do you cultivate this independence in a practical sense? Start by asking yourself this. What parts of my life am I still relying on others to validate? Maybe it's how you view your physical appearance, your success, or even your emotions. The first step is awareness. Recognize where you're handing over your power and make the conscious decision to take it back. Next, shift your focus inward. Independence isn't about isolating yourself or cutting off connections. It's about prioritizing the relationship you have with yourself. Are you nurturing your interests? Are you investing in your growth, your health, your happiness? When you love your independence, you're telling the world, I am whole as I am. And paradoxically, this is when others are most drawn to you. Finally, remember that independence is not a static achievement, it's a practice. Like Stoicism, it requires daily attention and effort. It's about consistently choosing to value yourself, even when it feels easier to fall back into old patterns of seeking external approval. As you embrace your independence, you'll notice a remarkable shift, not only in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. You'll feel lighter, freer, more in control of your life. And here's the real beauty. When you stop needing others to validate your worth, they start offering that validation freely. Why? Because your independence inspires admiration and respect. Now, let me ask you this. What would your life look like if you fully embraced your independence? Picture it, living without the constant need for approval, walking confidently in your own truth, and attracting people not because you chase them, but because you simply are. It's a vision worth striving for, isn't it? As we move forward, we'll explore an equally transformative aspect of this journey: how to avoid the internal traps that threaten to pull us back into old, desperate patterns. Stay with me, because the next part is where we dig deeper into the mind and uncover how to conquer those sneaky forces that undermine our independence. 2. Emotional control. Avoiding internal traps. Even when you've embraced independence, there's an invisible battle happening within you, a battle with your own mind. The path to becoming someone who doesn't try hard isn't free from obstacles. In fact, the greatest traps you'll face are internal: self-doubt, overthinking, loneliness, and comparison. These traps, subtle yet powerful, can pull you back into the cycle of chasing. But here's the good news: with awareness and discipline, you can break free. Let's start with the most insidious trap: self-doubt. Have you ever found yourself questioning your decision to pull back? Maybe you think, what if I've made a mistake? What if I've pushed them away forever? This is self-doubt whispering in your ear, trying to convince you to return to old habits. It's like a crack in your armor, and if you let it widen, it will drag you right back to the behaviors you're trying to leave behind. But here's the truth: self-doubt isn't reality, it's fear in disguise. When that voice creeps in, stop and ask yourself, why did I make these changes in the first place? Was it to gain someone's fleeting attention, or was it to honor your own worth? Reaffirm your purpose. Remember, the Stoic mindset reminds us, you have power over your mind. You're in control, not your fears. Now consider overthinking. It's another trap that keeps you stuck. You replay scenarios in your mind, imagining every possible outcome, analyzing their actions and questioning your choices. Overthinking creates a false sense of control, but in reality, it only paralyzes you. Ask yourself, is this mental spiral helping me, or is it keeping me stuck in the past? The answer is clear: it's time to let go. Instead of overthinking, anchor yourself in the present. Focus on what you can do today to grow stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled. Every moment you spend lost in hypotheticals is a moment stolen from your progress. Would you rather live in your imagination or in your reality? Your future depends on the choice you make. And then there's loneliness, a trap that hits hardest when you least expect it. In the quiet moments, you might feel the urge to reach out to rekindle a connection, or to settle for companionship that doesn't truly serve you. But pause and ask yourself, am I seeking them because I'm lonely, or because I genuinely value their presence? Loneliness is temporary. It's not a reason to compromise your worth or undo the progress you've made. Instead, use those moments of solitude to deepen your relationship with yourself. Rediscover the hobbies you love. Dive into your passions. Build a life so rich and fulfilling that loneliness becomes a fleeting thought, not a driving force. Remember, Stoicism teaches us to find contentment within, not in external distractions. Finally, we arrive at the trap of comparison. How often do you find yourself scrolling through social media, comparing your life to the curated highlights of others? You see their relationships, their success, their seemingly perfect lives, and you think, why isn't my life like that? But here's the reality. Comparison is the thief of joy. Their journey isn't yours, and their highlights don't reflect the whole story. Instead of comparing, focus on your own path. Ask yourself, what steps can I take today to move closer to my goals? Every moment spent envying someone else is a moment you could be investing in yourself. Your life is unfolding in its own unique, beautiful way, and it's time to trust that process. Now let's turn this inward. Which of these traps has the strongest hold on you? Is it self-doubt, overthinking, loneliness, or comparison? Whatever your answer, take a moment to acknowledge it without judgment. Awareness is the first step to breaking free. Remember, the Stoic way is not about perfection, it's about progress. If this resonates with you, take action now. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Which of these traps do you struggle with most, and how will you overcome it? Let's support each other in this journey toward independence and strength. And if you're finding value in this, give this video a like. It helps spread this message to others who need it. Stay with me, because in the next section, we're diving into a powerful strategy that will revolutionize how you approach relationships and energy, turning on ghost mode. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Let's keep growing together. 3. The law of scarcity. Creating space with ghost mode. Imagine this: you've always been there for someone, always available, always quick to respond, always eager to prove your worth, and yet they seem to care less and less. Why does this happen? The answer lies in one of the most powerful psychological principles of human interaction: scarcity. When something is always available, it loses its value. But when it becomes rare, it suddenly demands attention. This is where ghost mode comes into play, a strategy not of manipulation, but of self-preservation and growth. Ghost mode is about stepping back, reclaiming your energy, and creating space. It's not about vanishing entirely or playing games. It's about recognizing when your presence has become too predictable and recalibrating the balance. Why is this necessary? Because constant availability can inadvertently teach others to take you for granted. Picture this: a priceless gem sitting on a shelf, always visible, always accessible. Over time, people pass by without noticing it, taking its presence for granted. Now imagine that gem is suddenly removed, no longer there for anyone to see. Its absence creates a void, and people begin to wonder, where did it go? Why didn't I value it before? This is the essence of ghost mode. By removing your constant presence, you allow others to feel the weight of your absence. But more importantly, you remind yourself of your own value. Stepping back isn't about making someone miss you. It's about giving yourself room to breathe, to focus, and to grow. How do you activate ghost mode? It begins with small, intentional actions. Stop being the first to reach out. Stop responding immediately to every call or message. Allow silence to do its work. You don't need to announce your withdrawal. True ghost mode is quiet and unassuming. It's about shifting your focus inward without needing others to notice. Here's the beauty of this approach. When you stop chasing, you reclaim your power. Suddenly, the energy you were pouring into someone else is now yours to invest in yourself. You can use that energy to nurture your passions, strengthen your mind, and build a life that brings you joy, whether or not anyone else is watching. But here's where it gets interesting. When you go quiet, people notice. They begin to question why you're no longer as accessible as you once were. It's not manipulation, it's human nature. People are drawn to what they can't easily have. Your absence creates a void, and that void forces others to reassess your value. However, it's essential to understand that ghost mode isn't about controlling others. The goal isn't to make someone come running back, it's to detach yourself from the need for their attention. This is where Stoicism plays a vital role. The philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and energy, and to let go of what we cannot. You cannot force someone to value you, but you can choose to value yourself. When you embrace ghost mode, you'll notice a profound shift, not just in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. You'll begin to realize that your constant effort to stay visible wasn't serving you. It was draining your energy and tying your self-worth to someone else's approval. By stepping back, you break free from that cycle. There's a lesson in the silence of ghost mode. When you stop trying to fill every gap with noise, you make space for clarity. Clarity about who you are, what you want, and what truly matters. And in that clarity, you'll find strength. But let me ask you this. What will you do with the space you create? Will you use it to grow, to explore, to become the best version of yourself? Or will you let it become a waiting game, hoping for someone else to fill the void? The choice is yours. As we move forward, we'll explore how to channel this newfound energy into something extraordinary. Investing in your personality. Because creating space is only the beginning. What you do with that space is where the real transformation begins. Stay with me. 4. Investing in yourself. So you've embraced your independence, avoided the traps, and created space with ghost mode. Now what? This is where the real magic begins. The energy you once poured into chasing others is now yours to reinvest. But the question is, where will you invest it? The answer lies in the most powerful and enduring asset you have, yourself. Investing in yourself doesn't mean surface-level changes or quick fixes. It's not about looking better for someone else or achieving success to impress others. True self-investment is about growth, authenticity, and building a personality so strong and magnetic that it naturally draws others in. But how do you begin? Start with self-awareness. Ask yourself, who am I and what makes me unique? Too often we lose sight of our individuality while trying to conform to what we think others want. But your true power lies in your authenticity. The qualities, strengths, and quirks that make you are not flaws to be hidden. They're the foundation of your charm. Take time to reflect on your values, passions, and interests. These are the building blocks of your personality. Once you've taken stock of who you are, it's time to refine and expand. Growth is essential to becoming someone who stands out effortlessly. Feed your mind and curiosity. Read books that challenge your thinking. Explore hobbies that excite you. And expose yourself to new ideas and experiences. Every step you take toward growth adds depth to your personality, making you more intriguing and captivating. But let's be clear. Growth isn't about perfection. It's about progress. You don't need to be an expert at everything or have all the answers. People are drawn to those who are passionate, curious, and willing to learn. When you invest in your growth, you exude a quiet confidence that says, I'm not perfect, but I'm always evolving. And that confidence, it's irresistible. One of the most powerful areas of self-investment is emotional intelligence. In relationships, careers, and friendships, people are naturally drawn to those who can navigate emotions with grace. Emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about understanding them, both yours and others. It's about responding thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Here's an exercise. The next time you feel triggered by someone's words or actions, pause. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What's the story I'm telling myself about this situation? This simple act of reflection can transform your interactions. When you master your emotions, you not only gain clarity and control, you also become a source of calm and stability for those around you. And let's face it, in a world full of chaos, calm is captivating. But investing in yourself doesn't stop at self-awareness, growth, and emotional intelligence. Authenticity is another critical element. In a world obsessed with appearances and perfection, being genuine is a rare and refreshing quality. Authenticity isn't about revealing every detail of your life or oversharing. It's about aligning your actions with your values and being honest in your interactions. When you're authentic, people feel they can trust you, and trust is the foundation of any meaningful connection. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who seemed completely at ease with themselves? Someone who wasn't trying to impress or conform, but simply showed up as they were. That kind of presence is magnetic. It draws people in, not because they're flashy or loud, but because they're real. As you invest in yourself, remember to nurture your curiosity and interests. Whether it's diving into a new subject, pursuing a creative passion, or exploring the world around you, these pursuits add layers to your personality. They give you stories to tell, perspectives to share, and a richness that others can't help but notice. But let me ask you, what are you doing today to invest in yourself? Are you cultivating your strengths? Are you learning something new? Are you taking the time to grow into the person you want to become? The answers to these questions will shape your journey. As you continue this path of self-investment, you'll notice something incredible. You no longer feel the need to chase others or seek their approval. Your focus has shifted inward, and in doing so, you've become someone who commands attention effortlessly. People will be drawn to you not because you're trying to impress them, but because you've built a life and personality that speak for themselves. And here's the most beautiful part. Investing in yourself isn't just about attracting others, it's about building a life that fulfills you. It's about waking up each day with a sense of purpose, confidence, and joy. And when you radiate that kind of energy, the right people naturally gravitate toward you. Now, let's take this journey one step further. In the next section, we'll explore the final piece of the puzzle, mastering patience. Because while investing in yourself is transformative, the results don't appear overnight. It's patience that turns effort into success and growth into greatness. Let's continue. 5. Mastering patience. The art of letting growth take root. Picture this. You've put in the work. You've embraced independence, avoided the traps, created space, and invested in yourself. But now doubt creeps in. You wonder, why hasn't anything changed yet? Why aren't they noticing? Why am I not seeing the results I expected? Here's the truth you need to hear. Real transformation takes time, and the most magnetic quality you can cultivate is patience. Patience is a quiet but powerful force. It's the ability to trust the process, even when the results aren't immediately visible. Think about planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, give it sunlight, and let time do its work. Your growth and the shift in how others perceive you follows the same principle. But why is patience so attractive? Because it signals confidence. When you're patient, you're telling the world, I know my worth, and I'm not in a rush to prove it to anyone. That kind of self-assurance is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are steady and secure, who don't act out of desperation or fear. It's the hallmark of someone who is grounded in their own value. Of course, patience isn't easy. We live in a world of instant gratification, where waiting feels like a waste of time. But ask yourself, would I rather have quick, fleeting results or lasting, meaningful transformation? The latter is worth the wait. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop obsessing over immediate outcomes, things often begin to fall into place. Think about the great philosophers of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius Seneca, Epictetus. They all emphasize the importance of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. As Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. The same applies to your personal growth and the relationships you seek to build. But how do you cultivate patience in a world that demands urgency? Start by shifting your mindset. Instead of viewing waiting as a void, see it as an opportunity. Use this time to deepen your self-awareness, strengthen your emotional intelligence, and pursue your passions. Each day you spend patiently building yourself is a day closer to the life you envision. When you feel the urge to rush or force outcomes, pause and reflect. What's the rush? Growth happens in its own time, just like seasons changing or flowers blooming. You can't rush spring, and you can't rush your transformation. And here's a powerful thought. The wait makes the reward sweeter. The things worth having, authentic relationships, self-mastery, and lasting success, are never instant. Patience also allows you to handle uncertainty with grace. Think about it. How many times have you acted impulsively because you couldn't tolerate the unknown? Maybe you sent that text too soon or tried to force a connection before it was ready. Patience teaches you to sit with the discomfort of not knowing and to trust that things will unfold as they're meant to. But let's bring this back to you. Right now, as you're reading this, where are you feeling impatient? Is it with a relationship, a personal goal, or the results of your efforts? Take a moment to acknowledge it. Then, remind yourself, progress is happening, even if I can't see it yet. Every action you've taken so far, every moment of independence, every trap you've avoided, every step of self-investment has planted seeds that are growing beneath the surface. Here's a challenge. The next time you feel impatient, instead of acting on it, take a breath. Reflect on how far you've already come and where you're heading. Patience isn't passive. It's active faith in yourself and your journey. Now I want to hear from you. Share in the comments below. What is one area of your life where you're learning to practice patience? Your journey might inspire someone else who's struggling to trust the process. And if this message resonates with you, give this video a like. It's a small action, but it helps spread this message to others who need it. Patience isn't just a virtue, it's a skill. And the more you practice it, the more you'll see its rewards. So as we wrap up this transformative journey, remember this: the life you're building, the person you're becoming, and the relationships you're attracting are all worth the wait. Stay steadfast and trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. 6. Why people crave what they can't have. There's a peculiar truth about human nature. We often desire what feels just out of reach. It's not about being unattainable, it's about being valued. When something is rare or exclusive, it naturally commands more attention and respect. This is why people are so irresistibly drawn to those who don't try too hard. But why is this dynamic so universal? Let's start with the psychology behind scarcity. When something is abundant and easily accessible, its value diminishes in our minds. Think about it. Do you treasure air or sunlight in your daily life? Probably not, because they're always there. But imagine being deprived of them. Even for a moment, their absence would amplify their worth immeasurably. This same principle applies to relationships and interactions. When you're always available, always saying yes, always putting someone else's needs before your own, you risk becoming the air in their life, necessary perhaps, but taken for granted. On the other hand, when you're selective with your time and energy, you create a sense of value around your presence. People begin to notice and appreciate you more because your attention isn't a given, it's earned. This isn't about playing hard to get or creating artificial distance. It's about genuinely valuing yourself enough to set boundaries and protect your energy. Stoicism reminds us that our time and focus are precious resources. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Consider at what price you sell your integrity, but see that you do not sell it cheap." Your presence is a privilege, not something to be taken lightly. I think about someone in your life who seems to have an effortless allure. They're not chasing others or vying for attention. Instead, they're fully engaged in their own pursuits, focused, confident, and purposeful. Their self-containment makes them fascinating. You want to know more about them, to understand their world. They haven't created this magnetism by pushing, they've created it by simply being. Now reflect on how this applies to your life. Have you been overextending yourself trying to convince someone of your worth? If so, what has it brought you? Chances are, it's led to frustration, exhaustion, and feeling undervalued. When you chase, you send a message, intentional or not, that your value is tied to someone else's validation. This inadvertently diminishes your worth in their eyes. But the moment you stop chasing, something shifts. You reclaim your power. Instead of running after others, you focus on building a life that excites and fulfills you. You create an energy that draws people in naturally without effort. This is the paradox of attraction. The less you need someone, the more they're drawn to you. Yet, stepping back isn't always easy. There's a fear that if you don't pursue, you'll be forgotten. But here's where trust comes into play. Trust in your own value. Trust in the connections meant for you. And trust in the natural ebb and flow of relationships. When you let go of the need to control, you create space for others to lean in. They're not drawn to your absence, they're drawn to the confidence and self-respect your absence communicates. This principle applies to every area of life, not just relationships. In careers, for instance, the person who is clear about their boundaries and confident in their skills often commands more respect than someone who is overly accommodating. In friendships, the individual who knows their worth and chooses their companions carefully becomes the friend everyone wants to have. It's not about withholding, it's about offering your presence intentionally, not out of obligation. But let's return to the heart of this. Why do people crave what they can't have? The answer lies in how we perceive value. We are wired to want things that feel special, unique, or scarce. When you prioritize yourself and don't give away your energy freely, you signal to the world that you are rare and therefore valuable. Ask yourself, am I living as though I am valuable? Or am I giving away my worth to anyone who asks for it? The difference lies in how you treat yourself. Do you prioritize your needs, dreams, and boundaries? Or are you constantly compromising, hoping others will notice your effort? The former approach creates an aura of dignity and confidence, the latter erodes it. Here's the final truth to carry with you. The people meant to value you will. When you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, you make room for genuine connections. Connections where you don't have to prove your worth, because it's already recognized. As we close this chapter, remember this. The world doesn't crave more people who try hard to fit in or please everyone. The world craves those who know their worth, live authentically, and move through life with purpose. Be that person. When you embrace this mindset, you won't just attract others, you'll inspire them. And that is the essence of true connection. So here we are. You've explored the paradox of attraction, the power of independence, the importance of avoiding internal traps, the art of creating space, the value of investing in yourself, and why people crave what they can't have. Each of these steps is a part of the transformation from someone who chases to someone who attracts effortlessly. But this journey isn't just about understanding. It's about living. Living with a sense of purpose and authenticity that draws people to you, not because you're trying, but because of who you've become. This is the ultimate power. To live as someone who doesn't need validation, approval, or attention, but who naturally inspires admiration through self-respect and growth. Let me leave you with this. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Picture the person you'll be if you commit to this path today. Confident, grounded, someone who has embraced independence, conquered self-doubt, and invested deeply in their growth. Someone who doesn't chase attention but radiates a quiet confidence that others find irresistible. This person isn't a dream, they're within your reach, but it requires action. The core principle behind all of this is one rooted in Stoicism. Focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, and your character. Let go of the rest. You can't force someone to value you, but you can ensure that you value yourself. You can't make someone stay, but you can create a life so fulfilling that their absence doesn't define you. You can't chase your way into someone's heart, but you can live in such a way that they naturally want to be a part of your life. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What color are your thoughts right now? Are they bold with confidence or muted with doubt? Choose thoughts that strengthen you. Choose actions that build you. Choose a path that leads to the life you deserve. Now let's turn this wisdom into action. If you found this journey inspiring, here's how you can make it a part of your life. Share one step you're committing to today in the comments. Is it embracing independence? Avoiding traps? Investing in yourself? Writing it down is the first step to making it real. If this message resonated with you, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Growth is a journey best taken together, and your action could inspire someone else to start their transformation. Hit the subscribe button and join this community of like-minded individuals striving for self-mastery and authentic connection. Together, we'll continue exploring ways to build lives rooted in strength, wisdom, and self-worth. Thank you for being here and taking this step toward becoming the best version of yourself. The journey doesn't end here, it's just beginning. And remember, you are not chasing anyone. You are becoming someone worth chasing. Go forward boldly. You've got this.